Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Wrap Up Live. This is the official Raptors Republic Live post-game show. We've got the gang tonight. We've got Oren Weisfeld, Adon Moss, myself, Sahal, Abdi. And this, guys, probably was one of the most entertaining games this season. I've always said that, if Raptors games this season are going to end in losses, I'd rather them just be entertaining, and this was extremely entertaining. They played the Phoenix Suns. They did unfortunately end up losing the game 99-95. Huge games from Chris Boucher, big game from Pascal Siakam, clutch free throws at the end from some Phoenix Suns and some Toronto Raptors, until they were instructed to miss a free throw, which didn't end too well. But good game all around. Guys, let's start right out the bat. Who is the player that probably stuck out the most? And if you guys don't agree with me on this one, I don't know, because there was a specific Raptor that, caught my eye. Oren.
Okay, yeah, no, honestly, I don't think I do agree with you on this because I think it was just hard to separate the big three tonight. Like Pascal, OG, and Fred, to me, all were kind of like A's on a report card, and the rest of the team really struggled to help them, other than Chris Boucher, who maybe that's your guy, but it depends on like what you're, if we're like ranking by what we thought they were going to do or what they actually did kind of thing. But I thought, yeah, Pascal, OG, and Fred were all really, really good tonight. And it was kind of another example of a game where we've seen a few of these where the bench just doesn't provide enough scoring to help out the starters. But this was even more exaggerated than I think anything we've seen this season, in that those three guys really carried the way and everyone else was just a couple steps behind.
Good point, Adon. So he just completely glossed over the fact that Chris Boucher was my player of the game.
Of course he was.
What did you think, Adon? What did you think about Chris and the big three?
It was almost like this is the manifestation of a growing trend with Boucher. Like his confidence is soaring, and he took 3 threes, whatever. But like he's totally at his utmost when he is playing like this, which is just like, a cyclone of like energy and hard work and like toughness. Like he really, like, he didn't even get bodied around too much this game, and earlier in the season his slenderness really showed, but in the last little while, particularly in this game, like he was kind of the biggest body on the court despite not being the biggest dude. So for sure he deserves to be kind of like the standout player of the game in that sense, because we don't expect this of him necessarily.
Yeah, I was going to say he was thriving.
That's fair. And if we're going to talk about Boucher, I actually did want to talk about him. I just didn't know that we were going to lead with him, but I do want to talk about him, and I think he's deserving. So 7 offensive rebounds, 3 blocks today. So I was like looking at his box score.
9 offensive rebounds.
Oh, well, you have to argue with Chris about that one. But I was looking at his box score, like since everyone's been healthy, I guess, and he's been put in this smaller role, and he's just embraced like the hustle guy. So last game he had 4 offensive rebounds, 2 steals, and a blocks. The game before that he had 4 offensive rebounds, 2 steals. A couple games before that, 2 offensive rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Again, 2 steals, 2 blocks the game before that. So like what he's been doing the past few games, he's basically averaging 2 steals, 2 blocks, and like 4 offensive rebounds. So that's exactly like a hustle guy. And so, I said the other day when we had this Chris Boucher debate that like I would trade him for anything. And I think I've actually gone back on that to where I would only trade him if you're getting something legit, because if he's really excelling in this smaller role, and I like him in this role.
It's sustainable. Yeah. It seems more sustainable. The other stat, which I was thinking about this, sorry to interrupt, Sahal, like it's with Freddie too. It's like the number of steals they don't actually get, but they should get based on drawing a foul or like causing the team to hiccup the ball. Like Fred does that a lot with ball handlers, where like it was 2 days ago someone just dribbled it out of bounds because of the pressure. I can't remember. It was what's his name? Little guard for Pelicans. Anyway, like Boucher drew like at least 2 offensive fouls this game, just like trying to out hustle guys. So there's those like missing statistics that aren't attributed in the categories.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention just as I was introducing everyone is that the person behind the scenes running all of our video, doing all the extraordinary work where me, Oren, and Adon can just talk about basketball is Chris Howson-Jan. So I just wanted to quickly mention that. Guys, for me, Chris Boucher, so I don't know if I've ever seen a player be affected more by his confidence than Chris Boucher. I'm talking like that I've ever seen, because you could just tell his confidence was in the rut as the season started. People were talking about him all over Twitter, including me. He just decided to only reply to a few. But, I mean, it is what it is. His confidence was shot. It was. And he was playing, honestly, horribly. Now he's at the point where we're starting to see flashes of the Chris Boucher of old, the Chris Boucher that the Toronto Raptors envisioned when they signed him to that 1 year +1 player option. I'm still not at the point yet where I'm ready to say, okay, let's keep Chris Boucher past the deadline. I do think that one positive that you can get out of his, increased performance is the fact that he's playing better. And if the Raptors do look to trade him, it's going to affect his trade value. So I was getting messages literally in the middle of this game saying, Chris Boucher, his trade value is going up. I can't wait. This is great. This is what we waited for. And then I had other people, namely, actually, no, I'm not going to name him, but he did say that I'm not going to name names, but he did say that, you know what? I'm starting to think that Chris Boucher, we should keep him past the trade deadline. We might not get anything at the end of the offseason. He might, just walk away. It is what it is. But, I mean, if he's playing like this and he's playing like the best bench player by far, what can you really do? Kem Birch started this game. Chris Boucher came off the bench and played 37 minutes. Like Oren mentioned, he had 7 offensive rebounds. Adon will contest and say 9. So I'm going to go with the compromise and say 8.
No, it's
so
9.
Piss anybody off? Okay. So I'm not going to piss anybody off. But he played a lot, guys. 37 minutes, and you couldn't take him off the court, which was really good to see from Chris Boucher. You quite literally couldn't. And that wasn't, a factor of Kem Birch not playing well. I thought Kem Birch played all right. He played a solid game. Nothing to be too happy or sad about, but Chris Boucher played better. And that play for me stuck out, that Chris Paul 3 in the clutch. And Chris Paul is widely known as one of the best clutch players in the NBA, not just from the free throw line, obviously the way he ended the game, but from anywhere on the court. That patented elbow mid-range jumper that he hit over Kem Birch. I feel like Chris Paul, like we've seen him do that so many times where he kind of gets that big on him and then he just goes to that same elbow. He used to do it to Rudy Gobert all the time. That same elbow mid-range jumper, hit it. And then the Raptors were just playing catch up at that point. But I just wanted to start it off by mentioning how happy I am, how glad I am that Chris Boucher is playing well again. He's had a streak of pretty good games. Unfortunately, Raptors winning streak ends, unfortunately, but I mean, it is what it is at this point, guys. I'm okay with it if they're going to go up against, the Phoenix Suns and play this hard. Am I okay to say the Phoenix Suns are definitely a championship contender if everything remains the same, guys? Am I okay to say that?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not putting them in the Western Conference Finals this year, I don't think, but I mean, they're a top tier team, there's no question.
Who do you have in the Western Conference Finals?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the Jazz are gonna go there and the Warriors.
Okay, that's fair.
Or Memphis.
Warriors Memphis would not surprise me anymore.
But the thing with I wanted to say one thing about Boucher, like from a larger lens is Samson wrote about this, but like this big lineup that we're seeing where Boucher shifts down to 3 and we have virtually 3 6'9" guys playing with either Van Vliet off the floor, and I think that lineup success of the last 2 games is dependent primarily on Boucher playing well, right? Like, he like what you're kind of going to get from Precious, and what you're going to, and then same with Champagnie tonight. I think before it was Barnes, but like you kind of know what you're going to get with those guys. Boucher is kind of the linchpin for that kind of lineup working. So this kind of success is good to see moving forward, especially like Oren, you mentioned on Twitter, like when we're playing these more traditional lineups, we really flummox teams when we throw all this length at them. And Boucher is a huge part of that.
So that's what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, like the Raptors defense tonight. And we already brought up the stat that the Suns had 20 turnovers. Like, this is a team that is run by Chris Paul, and it's not one that turns the ball over a whole lot. And even like Justin Champagnie stripping Chris Paul was a good symbol of the whole kind of game, which is just like, this is not what you are used to seeing from the Suns, where it's kind of like a junkyard game. It's really messy, and a bunch of offensive rebounds are determining it, which is credit to the Raptors. They turned the game into the style they want to play. But this sequence right here, where the Suns got 2 offensive rebounds, I think, and it ended with that at the end of the game. Like, the Raptors defense was incredible to close. Honestly, all game, it was just an incredible defensive display, and that's why, like, I'm coming out of this one happy. I to be honest, was skeptical that once it got into crunch time, we were going to beat Chris Paul and Devin Booker. This is just kind of what they do. This is why they've had such a good record in the last couple seasons, in large part. But the effort and the defense that the Raptors played today, along with their big 3 all showing up, was really encouraging.
Yeah, Booker went 4 for 13. Bridges had a crud game. Like, that's what makes them a contending team, is even when they play poorly, their defense keeps them in games and they score when it matters. But like, I also come away from this game feeling really good. Like, I kind of expected us to get stomped. We were undermanned. I thought we were like tired from the New Orleans game. You know what the spread was on this game?
No, what was it?
It was exactly 4. The way they set those lines, man, blows my mind. But
gotta love Vegas.
So this is promising stuff. Like that's win or lose. These are the kind of games. It's like the other games where you just eke one out against these shitty lineups. You're like, okay, I guess I feel good about this. But when you lose these good ones, it's like there's nothing but good comes out of it.
From the Phoenix Suns perspective, guys, were you shocked a bit that they didn't go to DeAndre Ayton a little more? I know Khem Birch is not the tallest guy in the gym, and the Raptors do struggle against more traditional 5s. If you're looking at the box score, Ayton only shot the ball 7 times. He made 5 of them. He went to the free throw line 6 times. So it wasn't a matter of him not being aggressive. Or do you think the Raptors kind of just played defense their way and they just hoped the ball wouldn't kind of go his way? I'll ask Oren.
I was kind of surprised because my friend, he texts me before every Raptors game and asks which bets I like because he's a degenerate gambler. And I said the Ayton over on points and assists. And he had 0 assists because I figured the Raptors are going to double this guy quite a bit. He's a good passer. Yeah. He's a good post-up scorer. So they'll play through him. And I just think the Raptors did a really good job selectively doubling him. Never made it easy for him. And, I thought they did something interesting at the beginning of the game, which was they put Ayton on OG defensively. And people question that. Like, I saw on Twitter, people being like, OG is going to cook up Ayton. And by the way, Pascal Siakam had his way with Ayton all game. But I think the reason the Suns did that was because they didn't want him to guard Khem Birch, because that way they could race down the floor and immediately have Ayton post up OG. And OG is not like an easy guy to post up, but it's a preferable matchup to Khem Birch, I think is what they were kind of saying. And there was a lot of that going on in this game, mismatch hunting and stuff like that. But I thought that was pretty telling in how they wanted to play through Ayton, but just kind of weren't able to as effectively as they probably wanted to, because the Raptors, like, they were just on a string defensively. They would do that double, but then the rotations would be so crisp that it wasn't leading to any open shots.
And we got lucky. Like Bridges missed a couple of corner threes. Crowder was hot in that second quarter.
They got lucky. We shot 20% from three. Only OG and Fred made a three for the Raptors.
That's true. And their free throws.
Yeah, and the free throws. I do wonder how many times a team has only had two players hit a three, especially if they won. That would have been an interesting stat to
that would have been crazy. But
with a loss, I'm sure it happens quite a bit.
Yeah. What I wanted to quickly mention was that, this was a game where you limited Devin Booker, probably the best you can limit a player of his caliber in this league. He's 4 for 13. Yes, he did have 8 free throws attempted. So it was like he was trying to, get a bucket. He just couldn't. He finished with 16 points. He fouled out at the end of the game on that last free throw where he fouled Kem Birch. Kem Birch ended up hitting 2 free throws. But you stop Devin Booker. Chris Paul doesn't, he had a good game. It wasn't an extraordinary game. 15 points, 12 assists, 5 steals is what stands out for me for Chris Paul. But what hurts the most looking at the box score, and honestly just watching the first half, was Jay Crowder, man. Jay Crowder just was not missing a shot. And I felt like with the Raptors and this hyperactive switching defense, and when they get caught out and they're just sprinting at, guys, and I feel like the Raptors jump a lot, probably more than most teams on the perimeter. Jay Crowder was pump faking every time, sliding to the left, sliding to the right, hitting shots. It just hurts because in games like this where you can limit, the best offensive player on the opposite side and the team still ends up winning, it does hurt a bit. But I guess the positives you can take out of this are they're not necessarily, I think, a clear-cut playoff team yet. I think they're in very good shape right now because most of the players are healthy. I don't know if they are yet. I'm not ready to say the Raptors are getting into the playoffs 100%. You just never know. They've had really shitty luck with health. COVID has ruined them these last 2 years. So I just don't know. And honestly, with the way it's looking, we might get 6 variants by a few months from now. So I just don't know.
No, you
right?
got to knock on wood.
Raptors missing playoffs. We got 8 more variants coming. What other doomsday shit you got going on for us?
We don't say the V word on this show, guys. Okay. We don't say the V word.
That's fair. I think that they're on track to becoming a playoff team. As long as everything stays the same. It's just I don't know if everything's going to stay the same. I'm being totally honest. From what I've seen the last couple of years, I just don't know. But this is a positive. Playing a team as good as the Suns with all of their guys healthy, Bridges healthy, Crowder healthy, their entire core was healthy. They have a player on the bench who's been playing for them much better recently in Jalen Smith, who I personally thought was trending towards the bust side for the Phoenix Suns. And then these past couple months, he's been incredible for them off the bench. I love the Biyombo. I know he only played 5 minutes, but I love that signing for them. JaVale McGee has always been a pretty good kind of center spot start off the bench guy, plays with good energy. The Suns are one of the best teams in the league. 31 wins, 9 losses, and the Raptors played them to the end. I don't want to be that guy that's like, okay, guys, we lost, but we lost against a good team. But there are some positives. And this was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I think moral victories are allowed within the context of the season. And the Raptors have played themselves into a point where they're 3 games above 500. No one expected them to be here. At this point, you're allowed to have a moral victory, right? If we were 15-25, I wouldn't be sitting here you know what? At least they're trying. But the Raptors have won a bunch of games recently. They won 6 in a row. You can't expect them to just win every game. The Suns are the number 1 seed in the league coming into this game, fully healthy. This was a moral victory as far as I'm concerned. I think that's pretty fair to say. And real quick on Jalen Smith, if he can play the 4, which he did a lot today, and good. I didn't know he could shoot as well as he could. He moves really well. Then he's an interesting player. I thought he was strictly a 5, but
he looked a little slow.
Well, for a 4, yeah. Fair, but if he can even just play, Siakam's a hard guard too when you talk about opposing 4s.
I think, but even as a small ball 5, I think if he's hitting that outside shot, like you're saying, that makes Phoenix a lot more versatile rather than having just McGee come in Mickey punished us a little bit. Those little baby hooks down low. But yeah, Jalen looked nice. It's good for him.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
Hate Landry Shamet. Hate him.
We're already getting some disagreements in the comments. Some people love moral victories. Some people like them.
Yeah,
and some people
I
hate
saw.
them. It is what it is. I'm okay with it. The Raptors' next game is. Sorry, go ahead, Aiden.
Well, I was gonna say the caveats are plenty, right? Like we're missing our third best shooter or our second best perimeter shooter.
Yeah.
Third best perimeter defender. We're missing Scotty Barnes. Yuta just came back. We missed a fuck ton of free throws. We missed a ton of 3-pointers. Like the only thing that was kind of anomalous in a positive for us was offensive rebounding. Other than that, like, and in every other way, we should have really won this game if all things were normal. So.
Yeah, and Trent specifically was pretty notable absence because, like, you look at the Raptors rotation and there is not a lot of shooting, as I already said with that stat. But Trent is a guy that even on nights he's not shooting well, he helps you late in games. And especially when you're down, you want to put your best offensive lineups out there. And the Raptors couldn't really do that because there wasn't any guys who you can look at off the bench who are knockdown shooters. And that kind of hurt them in this one.
He's good for like 2 or 3 of those fadeaway elbow jumpers. You know, like he's gonna get you those every game.
I think if we can't knock down our threes, we gotta at least take down the free throws. 15 free throws made, 25 attempted. Like the Raptors don't generally, get to the line 25 times, but making 60% of your free throws is horrendous. Like that is terrible, especially when you lose by 4. I mean, that means that you hit 20 of your free throws out of 25, you win the game. 8 for 37, I'm not too shocked about. Like I know we've brought it up, but to be quite honest, we are one of, I think, the bottom 3-point shooting teams in the league. I think so. Because I think you can't get anybody off the bench who can hit a shot. I think Fred, OG, great shooters. Fantastic shooters. Gary Trent, when he's there, solid shooter. He's always hovering around 40%. But who's going to hit a shot off the bench, man? If you're going to rely on Chris Boucher to come in, game out, hit 40, 50% of his shots from the outside, you're not. Like, it's just not going to happen. Fred's the type of guy, he's very streaky as well. He might go, 8 for 15 one game and then 4 for 13 the next. So, I mean, it just is what it is. So I'm not too shocked about the 3. I'm more pissed about the free throws, man. That really hurt. Like 15 for 25 is nasty. That is a nasty number. I guess one thing that I'm looking forward to is that even if you don't accept moral victories, the Raptors do have Detroit on Friday night. We don't play that well versus Detroit. So, I mean, it is what it is. 7 p.m. game, classic for a Friday night, and it's in Detroit as well. So Toronto's second home. We might not get fans at the Scotiabank Arena, but we'll get fans in Detroit, which is nice. So I don't know if I'm even expecting a win in Detroit, to be honest with you guys. I think they have like 8 wins this year or something like that. But, I mean, it is what it is. I'm okay with it. I think that's as close to a guaranteed win as you're going to get for the Raptors, especially because you have Milwaukee and Miami after that. You got Luka Doncic after that. The Wizards, who are much better this season. And then Portland's like, you just don't know. Because if Dame just wants to be Dame and wakes up and is like, I'm going to put up 50 tonight, he might just do that. So you don't know. So it's tough.
Dame's out. Apparently Dame's out for the next 8 games. But
he is for the abdominal contusion, I think it was. Yeah. So Dame's
Norman
out.
Powell revenge season.
Yeah, that's just fantastic. And then you got Charlotte and Chicago, 2 pretty good teams. Chicago's the best team in the East as far as I remember. So it doesn't look great, the schedule, especially when you start off this little stretch with a loss. But I don't know, guys. I know we usually do this at the end of each show. How many wins do you guys see in this stretch over here? I probably see like 3 at most, to be quite honest. I see Portland, Detroit.
Dude, that's no.
How did you say 3?
I don't know, man. Chicago, Milwaukee.
You're low on the Raptors. You're being a hater tonight.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
You are being a hater. Official. 3 wins. Some of these teams are doo-doo.
Okay, Detroit, that's 1.
Okay, Dallas is whatever. Washington's a win. Portland's a win.
Okay, never mind. I think we'll beat Miami. I think we'll beat Miami because they don't have Bam or Jimmy.
We're beating the Bulls.
Ooh, no. That's a big one. I say Charlotte, but not the Bulls.
Charlotte's
I'm
at
putting
home.
money on the Bulls game.
I'm gonna
so
go 4
far
wins,
down the
man.
line. Put money already.
1, 2, 3, 4.
My one
5,
bet
6.
today was
Yeah,
OG
we're going-
over 2.5 threes.
In all seriousness, the healthy Raptors can beat, as they showed tonight, they could beat some good teams, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm not even, it's like earlier in the season, we were focused on who they were playing, because really when they have all those injuries, they're not going to be expected to beat good teams. They're only going to beat like the poverty of the league. But
Mhm.
I think if they can stay fully healthy and keep playing like this, then they have a chance every night.
The Bulls did just beat the Pistons by 46. So
Nice. How much
little
did Bol
pressure
Bol play?
on the Raptors?
That's what I want to know. Let me see. Wait. Let me see if Bol Bol played a lot. Oh my God, this is ugly. 133 to
He
87.
didn't play.
And Bol Bol didn't play.
He probably didn't fit on the plane.
Oh, Cade Cunningham. How I feel sorry for you, man. Chris, we're not going to answer that because Bol Bol for Detroit. I don't even know if he's going to play. They might just send him down to the G League. So there's no way to answer that. I don't know what Detroit's roster strategy is. I would assume that he's going to play just because they're freaking terrible. But I mean, it is what it is. I see 4 wins, guys. 4-4. Oren's going to say 7-1. So I'm not
I'll
going
split the
there.
difference.
Aiden, okay, that's good. That's good enough for me. Good enough for me. 6-2.
All right, let's move on here.
Let's move on. Let's get to film.
Taxman.
Oh, you want to do Taxman before? Oren, I'll let you select the Taxman because I feel like I've kind of taken the forefront the last couple.
Yeah, you're gonna say no one's deserving of it or something super negative.
Well, okay. Since we already talked about Chris Boucher, who I do think deserves it, but since we already talked about him and this is an opportunity to highlight someone else, I'll say OG Anunoby, Taxman of the night. How's that? I mean, that steal he had where Booker ultimately fouled him, that was a huge defensive play. But he was huge tonight. 4 of 13. That's not great, but still, at least he made some outside shots, which no one else could do on this team tonight. And kind of just like playing his usual defense, like locking down Devin Booker when, like, you look at 4 for 13 from Booker. A lot of that is OG. This was an absolutely huge bucket that we just showed right there. Should have probably been an and one, but OG doesn't get a whole lot of like clutch opportunities, and he actually had 2 tonight. This was the other, and he knocked them both down. So I thought OG was really good tonight.
I like that they had him hunt Booker too. Like they wanted to ice, even though OG's kind of struggled in that one-on-one ISO. Like they really wanted to punish Booker, and you could see it. Like you could see the size difference and how much that
the Raptors.
Was so
yeah. One of the clips I selected is an example of that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm okay with OG being the Taxman. I'm okay with Pascal, Chris. I think Pascal played great as well.
But also, happy birthday to Chris Boucher. Good game. Played well.
Honorable mention to Champagnie. That dude on the offensive boards is absolutely insane. I've really seen nothing like it for like a guy coming out of nowhere to be, who's not even the biggest guy on the floor, to be so consistently on the offensive glass like that. It's spectacular to watch, actually.
Before I go into the whole Can-Am tax thing, can I just ask a quick question to you, Oren or Aiden? Are you guys concerned with the 44 minutes played by Fred VanVleet?
Damn.
It's a lot.
I honestly did not even notice that until Buster mentioned it. So
I don't know. I've written about minutes with the Raptors before, and people have gone bananas on the forum being like, there's no like correlation between minutes and injuries and blah. These are professionals, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know, my like human logic in my head says like at some point these guys are gonna gas, like you can't be doing this forever, particularly in the playoffs. And a good analogy is Steve Nash, like cheered for the Suns every fucking year, and they would only go 8 deep. They would never have a backup point guard, Haller, Goran Dragic, and then they come playoffs and he'd be gassed, like he just couldn't roll. And I feel like that's something to watch further down the season for Freddie too.
I think you're right in that if this was like a championship caliber team, if they were going 4 rounds in the playoffs, I would have some concerns about Fred being able to do it. But we all kind of agree that this team is not going past like 1 or 2 rounds in the playoffs.
I won't hear that.
And,
No.
and so with that in mind, I don't really have a huge problem with it. Because like, even though I disagree with those people, I also think the Raptors medical staff have enough information that they wouldn't be playing him this hard if they thought they were increasing the likelihood of an injury significantly.
Yeah.
But they don't play again until Friday. Like, they factor all these things in, right?
Yeah. Getting back to Can-Am Taxman, because we totally forgot. I mean, we're not going to get our sponsorship dollars now that we have taken so long. But Can-Am CPA is a full-service small business and accounting and tax firm with an experienced and friendly staff that can help you navigate a triangle offense better than Phil Jackson. Can-Am also provides personal tax preparation and can recover the funds that you're entitled to. So don't leave your money on the table. If you have questions about your personal taxes, reach out to Can-Am Tax. Check out their Google reviews and visit Can-Am at www.canamtax.com. You guys can see at the top of the screen. You could also call. You could visit the website. Yeah, and I know a lot of you guys have tons of time spent on the internet, especially if you're in Ontario with all the lockdowns, because everybody's stuck at home, and I'm having fun going to my local Loblaws every other day.
I'm having fun going to canamtax.com every day. That's what I do every morning.
Every single day, before we even brush our teeth. Okay, let's move on. OG Anunoby, let's shout out to him, our tax man of the night. And shout out to Top Shot Tesla for super chat. He says Booker got shook by the Raptor. Masai, fix the bench, please. Yeah, the bench is. I mean, when you're playing Fred 44 minutes, yeah.
Okay, I got a question for Top Shot. S from the Score always fucking posts these trades that I just think.
Did you see this Magic one right now?
That's what I'm about to say.
This is terrible.
So S says I would do this. It's Dragic, Boucher, and Watanabe, and a first rounder for Terrence Ross and Robin Lopez. Like, get the hell out of here. Top Shot, you doing that trade? I hope to God you're not. I'll send the $2 back to you.
We had to roast S on the show because it's a bad one.
What are you doing, my guy?
One. He didn't post it. He just tweeted it. Retweeted it. But.
Damn. I mean, I know he says he wants a Terrence Ross homecoming, but you might as well just give them Scotiabank Arena too.
If you look, like, Chris Boucher is borderline worth a first-round pick. I think he's played himself into that. Probably more likely 2 seconds, but still. Utah Watanabe is also probably a 2 seconds guy, but that's a lot for Terrence Ross, who's not even a good defender and like is a little washed up.
If you went to the Utah Jazz right now and said, "I'll give you Utah and I want a first," I think they would do it. He is one of those few wings that you can plunk in there, and he's gonna do a pretty good job on basically anybody on the perimeter. And like, and he can hit the three. And if you already have a strong offense, like, he's a perfect 7th guy. So like, I don't even think Terrence Ross is worth more than Utah. So
yeah, you're high on Utah.
I get what he's saying in that the shooting, right? He's trying to fix the bench shooting.
Yeah.
But
Terrence Ross,
I feel like Terrence Ross is a plug one hole guy and then open up another, because the Raptors right now don't have many guys who teams can mismatch on against, and Terrence Ross would absolutely be that guy.
Yeah, I mean, it would be fun, in a very empty arena to watch Robin Lopez fight our mascot, like suplex him on the baseline, like as the game's going along. He could even do that during free throws, because I know Devin Booker got pissed at the Raptors mascot today. I don't even know why. I was reading that.
You can show the clip. It was pretty funny.
I don't even. What was he doing? Was it during a free throw? He was jumping, or
here we
I've
go.
never seen a player.
He's like, oh, this.
Yeah, watch. If we replay this clip, I think watch at the beginning in the bottom of your screen. You can see the Raptor just doing. Oh no, maybe not in this clip, but yeah, he's just doing like normal mascot things, but he complains about it because I guess he just wasn't used to it.
That's such a punk move.
I think he just stands out more because there's no one in the crowd.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't matter. That's what a mascot does. It's like just because there's no fans doesn't mean you can't do what you're supposed to do as a mascot.
I was so
Okay, I
confused.
found it. I found
had
it. Here we go.
I genuinely had no clue why Devin Booker was
See
so mad about
the
it.
wait. Watch the Raptor.
Was at the far bottom right screen, right? That's barely anything though.
It's
Like
normal. That's literally
It's
what
so
mascots
normal.
do. But yeah,
I'm literally like
Usually
that's
there's
in his job
5,000 people
description.
swinging
That's his
towels at you. What the hell?
Yeah, what?
the mascot's gonna be interviewed after the game, and he's like, "That's what they pay me to do."
Yeah.
Like, remember when Clay shot the 3 and Draymond got mad at him? He's like, "Bro, they pay me to shoot threes." The mascot,
Yeah,
they pay me to do that.
I think Devin Booker realized like what he was arguing about was so dumb. Like a few moments later, because he was laughing about it on the bench with Campaign and all those guys, and I don't know, is a mascot just supposed to stand there all game and just watch you hit free throws?
Yeah.
Like, if the crowd was there, he would have done the exact same thing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what Devin Booker was on. I genuinely don't. Let's get into some film review. It seems like a good time to do that. And I know, Oren, you are going to tip us off with the first play, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I like to see it and then figure out who did it.
Oh, you like doing that, right?
Yeah, that's the way to do it, guys.
Inside joke, yeah.
We know
What do we
this.
got? What do we got?
Let's see here.
Yeah, this is you. This is definitely you. That's so easy for Pascal. I love that.
Oh wait, are we just running?
Chris was
Wait, these are
having it.
different plays, Chris.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
This
Oh,
was
double
requested by
plays.
Oren. This is 2 plays.
God? Is that you, God?
You wish. God
What
can't help
is
you
going
now.
on?
okay. Oh, okay. You're right. Sorry, Chris. But I also wanted the Suns' offensive possession in this. But anyways, this was the second play here is a really good pass by Pascal because he notices that Birch finds a mismatch here. Oh no, never mind. You know what? I'm sorry. Let's move on. I have no idea what
God.
is this.
I thought you loved doing this.
Yeah, I love doing this. Until now.
This one was me, and it ends in a
Yeah.
Fred VanVleet shot. And I love this because at the beginning of the play, I don't know if we're gonna when it cuts to the beginning of the play, but in the beginning of the play, Fred VanVleet started off this possession very much like Kyle Lowry used to, where he begs for the inbound to be passed in as soon as a made shot happens by the opposing team. If I remember correctly, I think it was a Devin Booker shot that was made. And Fred VanVleet, just like Kyle Lowry, was begging for the inbound, got it really quickly, hustled his way up the court. It was Devin Booker on Fred. And if you look around, the matchups kind of don't make all that much sense. If you've been watching earlier in the game, they had Jay Crowder there on Pascal, but I think they wanted Bridges there. But the main, I think, thing I'm trying to get at is the fact that I love when Fred VanVleet does this. I used to love when Kyle Lowry did it. Give me the inbound really quick. Let me hustle up the court. Let's see if we can get them off balance. A quick, screen on the elbow from Kem Birch gets DeAndre Ayton on him, and then it's just easy for Fred VanVleet. That's a shot he could probably make in his sleep. And I know it's over the taller DeAndre Ayton, but he creates enough space here where he can shoot it. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Let me know in the comments if you do, because this is something I noticed with Kyle Lowry. He used to do all the time. Made shot, give me the inbound, give me the inbound, give me the inbound. Hustles his way up court really quick, and then you could see it ends in a good play for Fred. Nice little hesitation route there. Fred maybe can be a slot receiver in the NFL. I like that little hesitation he had on Devin Booker. I like that. I just wanted to mention that. I know we didn't get to see the first part of it, but it is what it is.
Well, yeah, and I also, to add to this, Fred is getting a lot better at attacking bigs who switch onto him. And that's been another one of his developments this season, because in the past he was kind of known, he had this reputation as someone who could do that, but the numbers didn't really show it when you look at his ISO numbers. But this year, when he has fives on a switch, he's been killing them.
Yeah, shout out to Kem Birch as well. What a screen set on Devin Booker. He absolutely sealed him off here. Does not even let him get around it. Could have been a roll, but Chris Paul was lurking, so Fred took the shot, and it went in. I love that.
Yeah. And my next clip is also about Fred. Just watch the defense he plays on Chris Paul this possession. See, guys, I knew what possession it was. We talked about 44 minutes for Fred tonight, but it was 44 minutes of this, right? Fighting over Chris Paul's screens, switching onto the next guy, getting his hand up, getting deflections. Like, it was not an easy 44 minutes, especially to make Chris Paul's night as miserable as it was. Fred, you have to just play the disruptor. And Fred did that all night, and this was a good example of it.
It also makes hedging possible with him too, right? Like he gets in Chris's shorts so that when Boucher steps out, Paul doesn't really have a chance to play make off of that. Like with Crowder,
you have no choice but to pick up the ball, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so like that, I mean, when you're hedging, that's like a coach's dream, is that the guy who's on the ball, who's getting screened, is working so hard to make it difficult for the ball handler to do any kind of decision making until it's too late.
Yeah, and that's like his ability to get over screens, make himself small.
Yeah, and yet be big.
Yeah,
it looked a lot like a double dribble by Chris Paul, but I mean,
cheater. He cheated.
I'm pretty sure Fred looked weirdly at the ref after that too, but it's Chris Paul.
This is me. This is like there's first of all, It's like magical that Precious hits a layup. So like
it's a miracle.
That in and of itself deserves film breakdown. But then on top of that, it's like this is the kind of stuff that we want Precious to be doing. It's like this is between, like, if on the one end we want you to just be a lob threat and a rebounder, and on the other we want you to stop like trying to ISO and do all this creative stuff. This is the kind of stuff we want you to be doing more of, which is like, yeah, it's also left-handed, which is real nice. Maybe he's left-handed. Maybe it's like a Ben Simmons thing. But like, what?
Well, Ben Simmons wouldn't be a great example because he's neither-handed, right? Like,
that's mean, man.
Doesn't KOC say he's like?
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like
we don't know. It doesn't matter.
He's neither. He's never proved to have either hand.
But my point is like Precious has McGee on him, who's no chance. Plus, it's like an empty backcourt, right? So it's like it's an easy rip and go, and that FOS is insane. But really, it's just my point is like Precious is picking and choosing his spots better than he was earlier in the season, and that's a good thing to see.
Yeah, he finished with the help as well. Could have easily gone to Chris Boucher in the corner. I don't know if Precious has that type of vision yet, but with his athleticism, him attacking the rim like that, you're okay with a finish like that. And it's also nice because Precious isn't all that around the rim.
It didn't really make sense to me that they had Smith and McGee out there at the same time. It's probably because Cam Johnson wasn't dressed. But like, you know, our team is so small and agile. It's like you don't need McGee and Smith out there.
Well, I think a lot of it was offensive rebounding, right? The Raptors were killing them, and they went big to kind of outsize the Raptors. But I want to say I think this is why Precious is frustrating, because he's shown us flashes throughout the season of incredibly tough finishes. You know, he's heading downhill quickly here, switches double clutch in the air to the left hand. This is not an easy layup, but yet he blows the easy layups. Like, that's why he's frustrating, because you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Good finish, Precious.
Yeah, well done, Precious. This is, I guess it was just like, I had the hots for Big's playmaking with the Raptors because they're so they've been so one-dimensional this year so far. So to see like Birch dribble the ball, like play make a little bit, not just look to dump the ball out and reset, but to actually like make some sort of aggressive move is like encouraging to see, because if like we all joke that Birch is what he is, like we know what we're getting from Birch, blah, blah, blah. But like if we can get a little bit more of this, it's like it's going to go a long way. So I just wanted to highlight that.
This is nice. You don't usually see this from Raptors bigs. I mean, the vision by Kem Birch, and that honestly doesn't happen without Kem Birch having amazing touch, kind of unlike Precious, but around the rim. The Suns wouldn't have kind of collapsed on him like that, and he knew that was going to happen. And it's just a quick dump off. Chris Boucher's there, just kind of standing around the rim, gets it, and then finishes, which is super good to see. I like that. I like that a lot from Kem Birch.
Yeah.
Here we got an OG. Is this the little post up where Devin Booker tries?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You're just not strong enough, my guy. You're just not there.
Yeah, and I mean, this was just to highlight OG's strength. This is like something I've been paying a lot of attention to recently, and I'm going to write about tomorrow. But his ability to, like, his new and improved ability to. Remember last season, I've already brought this up on the show, I think, but remember last season, OG used to get called, and his whole career, he used to get called for that push-off foul, right? Where he
I honestly
extended
thought he
the
was
arm.
going to get it there. I thought he was going to get it right there.
Yeah,
Booker
because
flopped a lot this game.
but OG is doing a way better job disguising it, where you can't push it out as like aggressively, but you can still do it if it's subtle and it's like more downward. And I think he's really figured out how to do that. And I also asked him about it, and he said like figuring out who's gonna flop and who's not gonna flop is honestly a big part of it. So I think even though there's like comedy in that, it is about knowing personnel more the longer you're in the league. But if you look at where he like, I guess what I'm saying is he doesn't need a whole lot of room anymore to like create these post ups or these like step back threes. Like Booker does not make him change the way that he would shoot this shot, whether or not he was defended or not. Like it's such an easy step back. He's completely balanced. And it's not like he's taking a wide, long step backwards because there's a defender on his hip. Like he's able to create so much separation that it's just a tiny hop, like to balance yourself and then go up. Mm-hmm. So I've been impressed with him and his ability to mismatch hunt all season.
Yeah, it's kind of like the kid who's tall, but it hasn't grown into his bones yet, and it's still like flopping around. Like I think he's figuring out his strength and how to utilize it in like a balanced and intentional way. Mm-hmm. That being said, I didn't think he had a very good first half offensively. And I still feel like he's a little bit robotic and linear with a lot of his moves. Like he had one crossover late in the game. I think it was that layup, which was so sick. It was way smoother. But I think he's still having, like, even here, you know, he gives up his like triple threat a little bit and lets Booker come into him. Like he's still not really figuring out, like, I don't know, choosing his spots properly. I'm not really sure what it is, but there's something that's like a little bit like just linear with his playmaking still.
Yeah, well, Samson wrote a good piece about this at Raptors Republic, how OG's settling for a lot more jump shots than he should, rather than kind of using his strength to get to the rim. And I think what you're saying is true. He does not read the game in the same way that you might hope. That, you know, you watch Siakam and you watch Scotty, and these guys just have an innate knowledge of where everything is, and they can really quickly kind of analyze what's going on and make a read. And for OG, I feel like it's, I don't know if it's predetermined, but yeah, it's either like, all right, I have this big on me, I'm just gonna like, I'm gonna shoot this pull-up three over his head. Yeah, or I have Devin Booker on me, I'm gonna take a few like steps to post him up and then shoot this fadeaway jumper. Like there's not a whole lot of changing midway through the move, right?
Yeah, totally. It's one of those obvious situations where growing up he probably was not the ball handler, right? Like he was just a big, long, athletic wing that just kind of, you know, did all the other stuff. And so this is a learning process. So it's like not really criticizing him. I know it's like an evolution, but it's one thing that I have noticed, even like from the earlier part of the season to now, it's like he's regressed just a little bit in that like ISO scoring.
I agree, and I think that's just the culmination of having less usage and having all these other guys around. Is he has less opportunities, and so when he gets the ball, rather than just moving it and making the right read, he's kind of looking for his own shot, and a lot of that has been settling.
Rhythm. Yeah, and Phoenix, I put in my notes today, good Booker D on OG. So yeah, he played really well defensively, I thought.
Yeah. There was that. I think I know one play maybe that you were thinking of the most when you kind of highlight his defense he played. And it was the one where he locked OG down kind of in the corner. A lot of Raptors fans, especially on Twitter, were clamoring for a foul on Devin Booker. He was being very handsy with OG, but I mean, I'm okay with it. Devin Booker was showing a lot of effort defensively in a game where he didn't shoot that well. So, I mean, from their perspective, the Phoenix Suns, you like what you see from the defensive end. Even on a play like this, you see Mikal Bridges kind of help, and OG still makes the shot. And it is what it is. Raptors don't have much to on the perimeter. You see Justin Champagnie, he's always near the rim. Chris Boucher is near the rim, and then they got Precious in the game as well. this was a weird lineup. The more I look at it, not a ton of shooting. There's OG Fred, and that's about it. That was about it. What else do we got? Is that it? I think this
is the last one, and it's just kind of funny. It's just the Raptors, I think, getting 3 consecutive offensive. Well, no, I wanted to highlight exactly actually their game plan here is just OG and Fred 2-man game. Literally all 3 guys stationed in the paint and like crash the boards, and it worked. Like it worked, yeah. Funny to watch. Like no offense is being run for this whole like 30-second clip, but they get 3 offense.
It's so tough because it's like when from the Suns' perspective, you have Ayton, who's a good rebounder, but he's being like bottled up by Precious. Like he has to handle Precious. Precious is super active around the rim. And then the Raptors, it's Chris Boucher essentially on Jay Crowder. And it's like, what else do you do? Because Chris Boucher is going to win that around the rim every time. And then you have Champagnie, who basically is our new Reggie Evans in like a 6'4" body, which is like insane. I feel like every time he comes on, you could expect at least 3 offensive rebounds within the first 5 minutes of him being on the court, which is cool to see. Yeah, this was kind of like the story of the game, even though, to be quite honest, second chance points in the first half especially weren't really there with the offensive rebounds, but I mean, it is what it is. This was just the Raptors thriving in chaos, which I love. You always love to see that.
Yeah, it was funny.
It was fun.
And yeah, I wanted to bring that up too. And they're saying that about Champagnie. That's a pretty unexpected turn of events considering the roster we came into this.
Yeah, especially even like 8 weeks ago, we're saying it's Banton. And now Ben's gone.
Yeah, and I still think Utah is ultimately this guy. Like, this is his first game back from COVID protocols, so I understand why he wasn't playing, and I understand why people are being maybe, like, reactionary or just, like, focusing on the moment. But at the same time, Champagnie's played so well every single time he's been out there that it's hard not to give him more opportunities.
Yeah, I broke down his baseline offensive rebound hunting in one of my 5 things. Like it's really cool to watch. He's very thoughtful with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Justin Champagnie. If this becomes a story where he ends up being kind of like a solidified part of the rotation, wow, that's all I have to say. Because I was looking at this roster before the season started, and I wasn't sure he was even going to really stay on the Raptors kind of senior roster this season. I thought he was just going to be up, down, but he's gotten there and he's making the absolute most of it. Does that say he had 5 offensive rebounds? So he had 5 total rebounds and all of them were offensive rebounds?
Yeah.
Wow.
But he has to do more though. Like it's a nice story. And those corner threes from a couple nights ago are really helpful, but like our bench needs something much more dynamic than Champagnie. But it is a nice story. No question.
It is. I mean, if he could shoot, that would be great, man. It would be great. We need a shooter on this team so badly, to the point where now I'm quite literally reading an article that's titled NBA players from each team that could be traded before the trade deadline. And I'm like, I like that guy. I like that guy. That guy seems cool. Nice. I like that. I say it the same way Adon does. Isn't it Champagnie?
Yeah.
You get a little in there.
Champagnie. No, okay, I'm not gonna make fun of his name. Champagnie. I feel like
He's
I've been
like
attacked
Brooklyn
for this
man.
like 8 times this season. Champagnie.
Okay, let's do questions and let's do Teslas first.
Top Shred Tesla asks, does Scotty Barnes' thumb worry you? He's not using that hand. I don't. No, I mean, you just don't play him until he could use it. I don't know. I think Scotty's he's an integral part of this team. I don't think that can be kind of overstated, but I do think that, you wait till he's fully healthy. The Raptors can get away with that. I mean, you have a good enough team. Even the team without Gary Trent Jr. and Scotty Barnes has proved that they can kind of, get into slugfest with some of the league's best. So it doesn't worry me too much. I think the Raptors have one of the best medical staffs in the league. So you just kind of, that is true. I used to say it French style, but you wait. You see what it is. That was before, though, I knew how to pronounce his name, and then Aiden cleared it up for me. So
I was going to say the same thing as Buster. I'm a little bit more worried about his knee at like the short midterm than I am the thumb. Like, although thumbs can really, I speak from experience, thumbs can really be a pain in the ass. But the knee thing is just like that. It's like Birch. It's like we can miss him for 6 to 8 games if it's a swelling issue that continues.
yeah, for sure. I'm just sorry. I'm scrolling quickly through the comments, but I feel like that's something Chris is doing as well in the background. So I'm gonna let him handle what the next question is. And it's from our guy Phoenix. You said to ask this question next stream, so I'll ask it again. What is the deal with the low usage of Siakam and Fred pick and roll? I swear every time we run it, something good happens. I honestly would have to agree. I'm going to leave that up to Oren because Oren has that type of access to Nick Nurse and he can ask this exact question. So let's all put pressure on Oren to ask that question.
Aiden's been the one who's been hammering for this much more than me.
Yeah, that is true.
But I've been wanting it with Scotty too. I mean, yeah, like I don't know enough. I mean, Oren's the guy that's behind the scenes. He's asking all the questions. My guess is their offensive coordinator, the Aussie dude, just it's not in what they want to run. It's not part of their scheme. Mm-hmm. That's my best guess. That and or they're saving it for later in the season. Like I think that's kind of like that's definitely their bread and butter. There's no question about it. But I think they want to explore other things and build like a better offensive scheme. And then use that for late game actions, like playoff games, that kind of thing. That would be my guess. Oren?
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably agree. I also think it's important who's playing because you look at a lineup they close the game with. Kembridge and Boucher are both out there. So if Pascal's rolling and Kem and Boucher are spacing out, teams are just going to take away the role. And he's going to make the right play. He's going to pass out, and Kembridge is going to like struggle to take a corner 3 or something, right? So it works in certain lineups for sure when you have when Pascal is the 5, but it doesn't work in a lot of lineups. But I do think that it's more of like a end of season thing, playoff thing, but it should maybe be a bigger part of their clutch time offense because it does seem to work when they go to it.
And it works with Scotty too. And Pascal has been hitting his 3, and so like. That I think we might see more of that because he'd be more consistent. And if Scotty's hitting his 3, which he was, and he hasn't been like you're saying, Oren, like those will be better options, or that will be looked upon more if they're hitting the 3 more consistently. But yeah, it's probably a spacing issue. That's a good point.
And the other thing I think it is like you don't want to spam it throughout a game because then the offense becomes more predictable, but also. We've seen stuff like this in Atlanta. Guys get frustrated if one player is running pick and roll all game and the other are just spotting up, waiting for the ball to come to them and then shooting 3s. I think Nurse is very much insistent on a free-flowing offense with different guys, like even Utah and Precious getting opportunities to put the ball on the floor, and it's all within a long-term outlook. Coach David Thorpe always talks about this when he talks about Nick Nurse, and I think he has some really good insights. He was on Dishes and Dimes at the beginning of the season, and so I think that the long-term outlook is another part of this.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's easy to just go to your best 2 guys and be like, "Here, run this play 10 times," but it's not as helpful to the development of the other guys.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
I think the time I think it makes most sense. The most sense is probably late in games. You just go to your 2 best players. You see what the favorable matchup is, and it's Pascal and Fred. The Raptors don't really go to OG all that often, at least intentionally to end games. It's usually Pascal and Fred with the ball in their hands. But I'd love to see it more at the end of games. Like Oren said, you don't want it to get too predictable, especially because those 2, the offense kind of hinges on what they do. Pascal's become an elite, I think, playmaker within the Raptors system, which is good to see. Just an all-around very good player. I know a lot of people have been clamoring like crazy for Fred VanVleet to make this all-star game. But guys, Pascal's having an all-star level season, I think, as well. So I just wanted to quickly point that out before we wrap it up. Before you guys leave us tonight, please do not forget to like this stream. Don't forget to comment if you haven't already. If you forgot something, if you forgot to mention something during our live stream, you could still comment it when we're not live. So don't forget to do that. Subscribe to the Raptors Republic channel. We have tons and tons of content this season that we've already posted and that we will post. This was the Wrap Up Your Raptors Republic post-game live show where your Raptors were defeated by the Suns 99-95. That brings the record to 2 games above 500, 20 and 18 on the season. This live show was produced by none other than our guy, Chris Howson-Jan, and that was it for myself, again, here with Oren Weisfeld and Adon Moss. We'll see you guys hopefully, I think it's Friday. Did I say Friday versus Detroit? Friday versus Detroit. And I don't know. I mean, if we're coming off a loss on that one, guys, I might have to take 10 games off. So I'll just point that out right now. Take care, guys. Bye.